Welcome to the Hooch, where the only place more messed up than your hosts is the barracks on a Friday night or the VA. So get ready to stand by for your weekly dose of toilet humor and shenanigans from your fellow veterans, Coy Mack and Michael Grizzled Grunt Harris.
Hello, and good evening, fellow patriots. You got Coy Mack here and the one, the only Michael Harris.
That's right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And happy Veterans Day for those veterans out there for yesterday, and then happy Marine Corps birthday the day before that for us Marines.
Is it today?
No, it was yesterday. No, it was the day before. Yeah. It's always before Veterans Day.
Oh, that's right. Veterans Day just steals all your glory.
Yeah. No, about the Marine Corps birthday. Except for the people that didn't get to go because they canceled it, because of that whole business.
War and stuff. War.
Yeah, war.
It happens. Yeah,
war's amazing, right? What is it good for?
Nothing. Anyway. Absolutely nothing.
Anyway, hello, Chad. Welcome to the show. Got a good stuff for you today. The theme of today's show is that wokeness is finally going to die. I think. I hope so. I wish.
Good.
Well, it's just leading to nothing but chaos. I think everybody's starting to realize how much this whole idea of wokeness has destroyed American society and the world at large. Like all this DEI stuff is not done anybody any favors, I would say. Not a single thing.
At the end of the day, wokeness and doing all the crazy stuff that they do, what is the end game? What is their goal? You know what I mean? You can get out there, scream, yell, protest, break stuff, sit in traffic, do whatever you want. But what is the goal? That's always the question you have to ask.
And that's what I've been asking. But before we get started with that, I want to share some videos that are always fun and funny. This is a Japanese commercial. That is effing wild, man. Oh, it's brilliant. So here, let's take a watch together. She's calling for help. Her husband's stuck under a giant ass rock. Thank you for everything. No. She's praising for God for help. And Japanese Jesus appears. Let me grant you one wish. What shall it be? I'm saved. Now watch what she wishes for. I want the skin of a 16-year-old. Even the deer's like, what? What?
Oh, that's so messed up.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you have a significant other that would probably do that to you too.
I wouldn't know nothing about that.
Yeah, it's like you're dying under a rock, and they're like, "Yeah, I just want, like the best skin ever." That is so mean, man.
That is messed up.
But that's how commercials used to be, man. When you could make jokes like that. Do you remember some of the '90s commercials? How wild those things were?
Oh yeah,
dude.
Yeah, it was good. I remember one of the KFC commercials was so dang stereotypical that people are like, chicken.
Ooh. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's a little too much there, guy.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you can't make fun and stuff like that.
You can't.
Luckily, we have TikTok that can bring us loads of joy of various videos. This one's really good too. So for that argument with people of like, does size matter? I think her argument is brilliant. So let's watch that together, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you know how big 12 inches is. Do you see that? Just in scale, where is that going? Not in here, okay? The average gal is gonna get about that much. Maybe this, if they're a pro, but the rest of that, completely unmanageable. This is the biggest I've ever seen in real life, but this is fine. It's completely fine. This, fabulous. Almost too big. Definitely too big. Fucking sick day. ER, 27 club, and now I'm just skipping my next life. Anything after that is entirely unethical.
unethical. Anything after, what was it, 9-10 inches was unethical in her mind. It's like,
I
bro,
feel attacked.
you feel I feel attacked. Like
feel attacked.
I have heard many stories of guys that have had very large endowments who said it's not all it's cracked up to be, my friend.
I wouldn't know anything about it, man. I'm
Yeah, it's because it's one of those, like, I'm coming from an average guy. I'll just put it like that. Just average guy, right? When you're like, you see a dude that's got a massive Johnson, you're like, man, I wonder what that's like. And he goes, man, it ain't cool. You never
Nah.
get to know what it's like to go deep, ever.
I wouldn't
Ever.
know. I'm an anomaly. I'm not your typical black guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not to bring up like dick jokes into the conversation, but like, yeah,
We're talking about hands.
We're talking about hands, yeah, hands and feet. What is that? You know, big hands, big feet. That whole thing.
Big heart, big hands, big heart.
Yeah. Jesus. No, it's just like I'm glad we still have some avenues for hilarity.
Yeah,
in the world, because it's nice to have some sort of funniness in the situation. So like, yeah, it's not like size matters and doesn't matter all at the same time. It's Schrodinger's size.
I mean, there's some out there that say size really does matter, and there's others that are a little shallow and say
it's all a matter of perspective and opinion and correct camera angle.
I think it's all on the individual. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's built different.
Oh man,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I thought was funny. Here's another one that I think is funny. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before.
Barbara.
This dude's, I guess he got angry and chunked his PS4 remote into his TV.
Not that serious.
I mean, I get being angry at games, but like, I've never been angry enough to chunk my controller.
I just turn it off. If I get to that point where I'm getting that angry at a game, I just turn it off. I'm just like, nope, not today.
Ain't doing it. No, man. It's the world is burning, and we're all just along for the ride. So
we're here for it.
There's some funny videos for you today. Now to getting into more of the news, we've got Bill Burr's wife is trending on Twitter because of last night. She apparently flipped off Donald Trump at the OC event, and it's got some people kerfuffled. Is the best way to put it, kerfuffled, you know. So he was coming in for the entrance, and then in the background, she just gives him the bird. Now, like, to me, in this situation, I don't care, because like, as the left is rightly pointing out, and this is all these people that are clutching their pearls on the right about this. It's like we say FJB all the time. You can't get mad for saying F Joe Biden, but then getting mad that Bill Burr's wife is slipping off Donald Trump. It's like the same thing. It's literally the same thing.
You know, as conservatives, we always preach, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Yeah. That's one of our tenets, be able to express yourself and speak as you want. So like you said, for the conservatives to get upset over that, that's a little petty. People had a right to do what they want, as long as they didn't try to cause him physical harm. If they don't like him, they can show how they don't like him, just like we would do if, like you said, if old Potato Head Joe came in the room.
Potato Head Joe. Yeah, but it's just one of those things. Like, people, like I said, were getting upset at that. I thought that this was funny. Rip Bill Burr's career.
Bill Burr's wife, BB.
Yeah. So like, they're like saying that she's exactly like, kind of like Jada, and I was like, no, that I don't think so. Like, distasteful, maybe, but I mean, there's worse things they could do. I mean, they're trying to lock him up in jail. I think the least of his problems is Bill Burr's wife flipping him off.
Exactly.
I don't think that even registers.
And I'm pretty sure like Bill Burr is a Trump supporter. Yep. So he can't be held accountable for his adult wife expressing her distaste for someone. Just because they're married don't mean they agree politically. You see that a lot. So the whole Bill Burr accountable, that's also petty. Conservatives do better. We got more important things to worry about than that, you know?
Yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinions and feelings. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like you can't be upset that she's flipping him off when we say probably more awful things about Joe Biden. It's like you got to be morally consistent.
I mean, Roseanne Barr doesn't hold back. Hold back. And we praise that. That's the funny thing. We'll praise, someone we like that's on the right.
Yep.
Like you said, saying whatever about the president, flipping them off, doing whatever, calling him this, calling him that. We do it all the time on the show, but Joe Biden's a potato. And when somebody on the left talks about Trump's not God. I don't idolize Trump. I respect the man for his accomplishments and everything else. But, if he deserves it in some people's mind, so be it.
They deserve it. Like I said, like I would rather her flip him off than for what they've been doing, which is trying to throw the man in jail for the rest of his life. Like that to me is more important. Like this is how free speech is supposed to work. People say and do things you dislike. That's fine. It's when you start trying to lock up your opposition that we start having problems. And that's where we're really at. That's the real issue here.
Yeah.
Is the fact that they're trying to lock them up.
And that's true. I mean, you can dislike people all you want, and you see it all the time in politics. You see it on social media. You see it all over the place. Not everybody's going to like you. Hey, so be it. Life goes on. But the problem I have is with the deceit and the lies. Now, if you dislike somebody and you're lying, trying to ruin them like they're doing with Trump, then, I have a problem with that because you're being deceitful. You're lying. You're fabricating a story to ruin a man's life. And that's the problem in our world.
And that's right, Barbara. Like that's exactly what we're saying. It's like I hate the fact that he's a commander in chief too. Like neither one of us like Joe Biden. Like that's fine. And she's just as entitled to say she doesn't like Donald Trump. That's fine. That's America. Like be big boys and girls and pull up your pants and say, okay, that's fine. I can be offended. It's okay to be offended.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Move on. The thing about being offended is if you're offended about everything or anything that you see or somebody says to you, that's a you problem. That means you need to self-reflect and look at yourself and ask yourself, why did this bug me so much? Me, I don't get it. I don't get offended, man. If it's outside of my realm of control, I don't get offended what people say to me. I don't get offended what people talk about me. You can say what you want about me. You don't know me. You ain't living in my house. You ain't paying my bills. You ain't feeding me. Say what you want.
Right.
I'm not going to give you the reaction you want ever. And you're just going to look like the fool. Yeah. But, just in our country, it's just like everybody, and this is right and left, not everybody. A lot of people just get offended at everything. If you talk about Jesus, oh, I'm offended. If you do it, oh, I'm offended. Or if you don't, oh, I'm offended. Take a good look at yourself, and you need to do some self-reflection and start loving yourself, and then you wouldn't be offended about anything. I'm just saying.
It's also about being consistently throughout your entire belief system, right? If you're being consistent, right? Free speech is always about speech I dislike. It's not about the speech you agree with, because speech doesn't need to protect it when you agree with it, right? That's what the left has been doing. They've been protecting speech that they agree with, and they've been suppressing speech they don't like, which is the right. So if you're going to say free speech for all, but then as soon as somebody says something you disagree with, then you're not being morally consistent.
You're not. You are.
And that's
we call that being a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Straight up.
You got to be consistent, man.
You got to be consistent. Free speech is free speech. As long as they're not, like I said, as long as they're not trying to do you any bodily harm or mess with kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Or talk about kids or in sick ways, let them say what they want. Who cares? Move on.
And this is a lot of this stuff is bleeding over into the real world. This is really getting into the crux of what we're going to talk about today. And to kind of started off, I wanted to bring up this. I wasn't originally going to bring up this topic, but I wanted to bring it up because I saw the story and it was pretty shocking to me. It's just how crazy the world is. There was a teen who was beaten to death by 15 dudes in school recently, and he just passed away. And I wanted to bring this news report up to show what is happening right now is the degradation of American society to the point that it's not just like you thought you were worried about bullying and shootings in school. It's like now you have to worry about your kid getting beat to death in the parking lot. That's where we're at.
This video is making the rounds online, showing what's believed to be the fight that happened Wednesday afternoon. Metro officers responding to reports of a student fight across the street from Rancho High School. The investigation revealing the victim got into a physical altercation with 15 people before cops arrived.
Nothing that large, like 3 people maybe, but like 15, I've never heard of that before.
Rancho High junior Antonio Green says he's a classmate and saw the video.
It could happen to anybody. It could happen for me just because I have a natural mean face. It could happen to me just from looking at somebody the wrong way.
Neighbor Greg Bostic was shocked to see it.
From the video, that's a problem. You can't just retaliate with hate, and get back and revenge all the time. Sometimes you got to talk it out.
Off camera, a neighbor tells us that he helped carry the victim to the campus parking lot. Bostic says he saw the aftermath.
Somebody was laying on the ground, and they were out of commission and incapacitated.
Metro says the victim appeared to be unconscious when school staff performed CPR.
Right in that parking lot, I saw somebody getting chest compressions and CPR. The police came, ambulance, fire truck, and they kind of dealt with it.
Yeah,
and
shocking, dude.
And that's the problem with the world and in America is there's 2 forces that are running rampant in the world, or running the world. Of course, good and evil. Evil has a lot more power than good right now, and when you have that much evil running rampant in the world, you get things like this. Because people with a good heart wouldn't, for one, stand by and watch that, and that's the problem. This adult's on there saying, I saw it. Well, what did you do to intervene, to stop it? Yeah. Maybe you jumping in, protecting that kid that was getting pummeled, maybe that would have saved his life. But no, you sat back and watched just like everyone else, just like the person videotaping. So justice will be served, and I'm huge on justice, and I hope they all get thrown under the jail for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it's just the way I look at it, that's 16 lives that just got ruined. For what? Nothing? What, an argument? Like some stuff. BS you were spewing out of your mouth? Like, that's it? Like, this kid loses his life, and now these other 15 individuals are going to lose their lives? At least 10 years of it. Yeah. Like, they just ruined their lives before it even started. They're in high school, man. Like, they're in high school, and they just ruined their lives.
Over nothing. And that's the problem in the world is mob justice. We've kind of got to this point to where the mob rules, and you see it just not just in fights, you see it in protests, you see it in all types of stuff. They think they have power in numbers, and a lot of times they do. And then when it gets violent like this, it's never a one-on-one fight. Just go and look at any protest, any altercation. It's always multiple people pummeling, jumping on one person. There's 2 reasons why they do that. For one, they're cowards. They can't fight. For 2, they ain't got enough weapons when they were younger. They need a father figure in the house that would have taught them that if you're going to fight somebody, you need to square up and fight one-on-one, not this jumping on people because you're not proving anything, but you can't fight and you're a coward.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like I said, it's the culture of America being ruined because of weakness. And that's what we're seeing. This is what you get when parents are weak and the system is weak. So like you used to be like back in our day, like you could trust your kids walking to school, right? Or even back then, like even further back, you could trust that your kid could go to school and nothing would happen to them.
Yep.
They wouldn't get shot. They wouldn't get run over. They wouldn't get beat to death. You could trust that. You could trust your neighbor to know that your kids were going to be safe, right? And now it's one thing after another. It's like bullying's always been a problem in school because kids are vicious creatures and they're always bullying each other. It happens, right? There's ways to take care of it. But this is on a whole other level. Like the amount of violence that's happening in the schools, and you see it constantly on social media. There's tons of stories of things exactly like this happening everywhere. There was a kid that just got sentenced to prison for attacking his teacher and almost paralyzing her over a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that? That dude was huge too. Like a little lady getting freaking tackled to the ground and beat over his game system.
And there's something I always talk about on my social media on TikTok. I always talk about emotional
Yeah.
intelligence, and that's what a lot of people, a lot of these kids nowadays are lacking. They don't have the
Yeah.
emotional intelligence enough to understand how to calm down, how to figure out a situation, figure a situation out without violence. And there's many forms of mob justice. I mean, you see
Yeah.
it on social media. You get into it with somebody on TikTok, Facebook, whatever, Instagram. Then you got the whole mob coming at you, and they're all third parties. They don't really know what's going on. They're just jumping in just to jump in.
Yeah.
So you see it on social media, third parties jumping in, and I can guarantee there was only probably like one or two people that got into it with that kid. All their friends saw what was going on and decided,
Blood in the water in the
yeah,
Sharks
there's
game.
blood in the water
Yeah.
like sharks, and we're just going to jump in. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know who's right, who's wrong. I'm just going to jump in because my friend said this guy said it.
Yeah.
And that's the big problem in our society. On TikTok you see it a lot, and we brought up about bullying and contacting us, is
Yeah.
that you can get into it with somebody, but somebody that the third party doesn't know the full context of why you guys are getting into it. So the third party jumps in believing what the other person told them, but they're not hearing the other side of the story, so they just run with it. It's
Yep.
that whole emotional intelligence. Just take a step back and figure out what's going on. And
You're right.
then if you could see that both sides are at fault, you just stay neutral and stay out of it and let them handle business. But to
Yeah, but
jump a
you have,
kid and take a kid out, that's a little overboard.
yeah, you have kids raising kids. There's no adults in the room. There hasn't been for a very long time. And to answer your question, she did not die. It's even worse than that. She doesn't want to say it's his fault because of woke ideology.
Yep. And again, this is why Coy, and this is why the Savage Patriots with Coy and I, we're pushing this anti-bullying thing, and it's all anonymous. We're not going to put your information out there. You just send it to us, and then we'll do what we have to do to figure out if it's true, who's at fault, who's this. We're not just going to jump in and just give an emotional response. We're going to dissect it to see what was going on there for it to come to this point. But as adults, we need to do better with our kids, and teach them, show them things like this. Like, you can go to jail for the rest of your life. This can happen. This can happen. You can ruin your whole life. There's probably some good students that were in that fight when you talk about academics.
Yeah.
And with that one incident, they just ruin their whole life.
Yeah, their lives are done. Like they're not going to be able to get proper jobs. They're not going to be trusted with anything. Like you're going to become a felon. You're going to be a felon with a murder rap.
That's right.
At that. Like, so even if they charge these kids for being kids and they get out, what, in their mid-20s, maybe late 30s, if they're lucky, and half of their life is already gone with no social skills, no skills to build on because they were kids when they went in. Like, what?
Yep.
It's so easy to ruin your life before it even begins. Like that's the thing with like kids today is like the consequences that they have is like enormous. You can mess up so early over something stupid. That's the worst part about it.
And that's the problem with wokeism, as our topic is. The problem with wokeism, that the way it's put out is that these people are allowed to do and say what they want, commit acts of violence, and they're going to get away with it. We've seen it many, many times. So a lot of these kids that do stuff like that are adults, both sides. They think that there's no justice at the end in their mind. So they're just going to do what they got to do, and they think that they're going to get away with it. But, they're not going to get away with it because people are getting tired of wokeism, and there's more and more people that are going to stand up. They're going to point these kids out, and they think they're going to get away with it. And like you said, they're not. They're going to spend a long time in jail. I can relate to that because my brother was a young kid that went to juvie. He went to juvie at a young age, and he wasn't even an adult yet. And then through his whole life, adult life, he stayed in jail. When he finally got out, in my brother's mind, he was still in the 90s, like for real.
Yeah.
And this was like 2015, and in his mind, he was still 1990. And I'm just like, and that's what happens. These kids are going to sit in jail. They're going to get out 20, 30 years from now. The world's going to be a little different socially, but they're still going to be thinking that they're still in the year 2023. Yeah. And it's just a revolving door, and they can't adapt to the new society. So where do they end up back? They go back to what they're used to. Jail.
Right to jail. Straight to jail. Here's the other thing. It's like what we were talking about with the wokeism. It's like the liberal policies that they've been putting in is causing a lot of this issue. And the same thing with what we're talking about here. So this is a CVS store. They don't even have the items out anymore because they just have pictures of it, because people keep going in and stealing everything. They're just walking out with impunity. Nobody's stopping them. It's like because of the shoplifting crime changes. It's like, as long as it's under $1,000, nobody's going to stop you, and nor is
That's
anybody
right.
going to charge you with a crime.
And
And how
that's the
ridiculous is
society we
that,
live in.
man?
And then when you call people out for stealing, like you saw it, when those mobs go in again, mobs, they go in and they steal and they ransack a store. And these woke activists, these woke people always say, well, they got insurance. Obviously, they don't know how insurance works.
Yeah.
First off,
No,
you
they
have
never
to
do.
file for your claim. Second, you have to pay a deductible. Third, they're not going to give you what it's worth.
Yep.
So yeah, the owner is taking a hit, and he's got to pay a deductible into his insurance. And then what that does, that raises insurance rates. See, if people don't think about cause and effect,
Yep. And neither did we. I didn't think we'd ever see something like that in our lifetime, but that's the way the world is now.
You got to protect yourself, isolate yourself. And this is why I don't go out. I don't mess around in the streets. I don't go out and party. I don't go to bars, because there's too many stupid people out there. And I don't want to be put in a situation to where I have to defend myself legally and something bad happens, So I just stay home, man. It's not even worth it.
So I have 2 videos that are great examples of exactly what we're talking about, and talking about that leftist ideology entitlement. So you have these 2 Just Stop Oil protesters. I'm sure you've seen these people. They're the ones that are cementing themselves to roads,
Yep.
causing themselves chemical burns because they didn't pay attention in their college classes, even though they're supposed to be the smart ones, to know that you're not supposed to put your skin in concrete because, oh, chemical reaction is happening. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't put my hand in acid. It's about the same thing. So yeah, these people are effing ridiculous, dude.
Women did not get the vote by voting. It is time for deeds and not words. It is time to just stop oil.
Politics is failing us. Politics failed women in 1914. If millions will die due to new oil and gas licensing, millions! If we love history, if we love art, and if we love our families, we must just stop oil.
And I can tell you 100% this dude is doing it just for that chick. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
That was a cute. He was like, "Oh look, I get to finally
Look how
hold her
cute we
hand."
are together.
Oh yeah.
Look how cute we are.
We're so radical. Now, we talked about it backstage. What did them doing? What did it accomplish?
Other than ruining art,
ruining art that they'll have to pay for, because that thing's probably about a couple $1 million piece right there, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't accomplish anything. They just got up there and said a rehearsed little speech or whatever you want to call it. Then they said something very, very important: deeds, not words.
Yeah, deeds, actions. We gotta do actions. We have to show action.
Deeds. So deeds, right? If you're talking about deeds, not words, there's a lot of things that fall under deeds, and one of them is being a good person. So they're not even righteous people, because you're in there destroying something that had nothing to do with oil, had nothing to do with anything. It's an oil painting.
Yeah.
And you're not going to stop things like big oil. What, do the two of you think you're going to stop $1 billion trillion industry? No, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. It's just amazing to me that these people believe that by trying, I know they're not actually destroying them, but trying to destroy great pieces of artwork that have existed since forever. And we don't make art like they used to, that those types of paintings don't get made anymore. We have all this new modern and new age art that nobody ever cares about. Right. And so these people, again, have decided that in their infinite wisdom to call attention to climate activism and protest, to yell and just be obnoxious as possible. That's the thing that absolutely upsets me about this whole thing is that they are being obnoxious people that have no idea what they're talking about, for one, because they're like, just stop oil, right? We have to stop it now or millions will die. Yeah. If you just stop oil right now, millions of people will actually die. Like if we just stopped oil right now, we stopped using any sorts of carbon emissions anywhere, millions of people would die. So it's like millions of people now or millions of people later. Take your pick. How many people do you want to die and when? That's your question, right?
Yeah.
Because like diabetics, they depend on refrigeration. Stopping oil means that we stop refrigeration in lots of places because that requires electricity. And a lot of places run on carbon fuels.
Yep. And these protesters that do this, they probably drove their gas guzzler there. They probably do a lot of things that hurt the environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just a bunch of hypocrites. Their virtue signaling is just a hip thing to do at this time. And they thought they were doing something. Now they're going to pay a huge fine and, maybe do a little time, which I hope they do.
They probably will. I mean, I don't know why it became the thing to do to protest in obnoxious ways. Like, honestly, I don't know why that became a thing to begin with. I mean, at least it's not like the 70s where you had the eco-terrorists that were like bombing places, but still.
Well, it's straight out the Marxist playbook, man. Disrupt. Yeah. That's the whole purpose. And they're not going to accomplish anything. No one's listening to them. They're just there to disrupt. Period. They know nothing's going to happen. People have been protesting oil and all this stuff for years. And what has happened?
Yep. Nothing.
Leave it alone. Nothing.
Nothing's happening because we can't. Like, I think it's funny to me that California wants to get rid of gas vehicles when their own electric grid can't even handle AC. You want to put millions, and I do mean millions of EVs on the road, and you don't have an electrical grid that can handle AC units in the summer.
It's the same thing with solar. If there's no sun and as a cloud cover, there's no sun, direct sunlight. Yeah. How long will it last? They're trying to push all this stuff and all of its control. Like you said, their electrical grid can't handle it. Yep. So let's say everybody drives around their little electric freaking hippie cars. And all of a sudden, the electric grid goes down. Now people can't get to work. People can't go anywhere for an emergency. People can't do anything. But who's going to be able to get around? Politicians.
All those rich people.
And all them rich people. They're probably going to have gas pumps on their freaking property.
No, they get priority service, right?
Oh,
because they pay more.
Just
it's just like it's not a problem if you can just pay more money, right? That's it.
Just like Maui. They had fire hoses, spraying around their house, but everybody else got burnt up. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing, people.
Yeah. So the cleanest energy source we have today is nuclear energy, right? Generation 4 and 5 nuclear facilities are absolutely the best there is out there, right? But in their infinite wisdom, lefties do not like nuclear energy. And I don't know why they don't like nuclear energy, because they should, because it's actually green. But do you know how long it takes for the average nuclear facility to get approved in the United States?
50 years?
No, 25.
Oh, half.
You know what the average is in Europe?
100?
5 or 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can get like them say, well, you can get it done in 25 years. Yeah, that's just them saying we're banning nuclear without actually banning it, right? So like you can own a silencer. You just got to pay the $200 tax for it. And then get approved.
I heard that.
Okay. Yeah. Let's say like anything that's on the NFA list, right? You can have those things. You just got to pay money for it. That's all.
And that's the problem with the leftist Marxist agenda, right? They don't want common ground. They always talking about common ground or common sense or whatever. No, they want total obedience. They don't want guns. No one should have guns. They want it green. Everyone should go green. They don't want you to eat meat. Everyone shouldn't eat meat. It's no common ground like Okay, if you want to drive it, go for it. But if I want to drive it, I should be able to do it. But no, they don't want that. They want total obedience to their ideology.
Yeah.
Period.
You know, it's I wish I had the video up, but I'll have to find it next time. But Gavin Newsom, you know, he went to China recently, right? Guess who's coming to California now?
Oh,
The dictator himself,
Xi Jinping.
Yeah,
Of course.
so he's rolling out the red carpet
Mm.
because, as everybody knows, Biden is not running in 2024. Gavin Newsom is.
Yes.
Gavin Newsom is the pick for the establishment to be the next puppet of the deep state, the administrative state, the intelligence agencies. There is no way Gavin Newsom goes to meet Xi Jinping by himself if he's not running.
That's right.
So, like, you think these people care about your climate agenda in the first place? No, it's all about power, man.
It's all about power and control, man. That's it. And Gavin Newsom's just, he's a dictator. He just hasn't come out and said it yet.
Yeah, you remember Gavin Newsom during COVID? I think we do. I think Californians should, but they could have got him on a recall, but they decided to vote for him anyway. So there you go. We get American Psycho in the White House. That's what it is. So this is, speaking of psychos, this is a good segue. Let's watch this. Like I said, this is all about the wokeness and the entitlement that these people feel. This lady is pulled over for suspected DUI. And let's just watch the hilarity.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Why are you driving in the wrong way of traffic?
No, I just got changed around. I just moved here like 2 months ago.
Okay.
I just got changed around.
Okay. Do you understand what's going on though?
Yes.
You're going into oncoming traffic.
I know, and I just decided that it was better just to turn around really quick. So,
Okay.
But I'm sorry. I just have like really bad social anxiety and stuff.
I get you.
I don't want to step out whenever you're
Social anxiety
stuff.
After she just came back from the bar.
Just go ahead and step out.
As an indigenous person.
Oh my God.
As an indigenous person.
You know what? As an indigenous person, you can just go on your way, ma'am.
Yeah, as an indigenous person.
I'm sorry I stopped you. I'm sorry you broke the law and I pulled you over, but as an indigenous person, have a nice night, ma'am. Get out of here.
Yeah. It is mind-blowing that she thought that was going to be something that might work. Like, I get you're probably been drinking a bit, which is worse. Here coming up, she's going to do the cardinal sin of any traffic stop. You know what that is, Michael?
The cardinal sin, get out the car.
No, not shutting the fuck up.
Oh yeah. Don't say anything.
Don't say anything because she's gonna make that mistake. Listen.
Right back here, please. Miss Perry?
Well, I'm non-binary, so.
Okay. What do you go by?
It's Kai.
How can I refer to you tonight? Kai?
Kai.
Okay. Hey, I'm smelling alcohol.
I know.
How much have you consumed tonight?
Like probably 3 drinks.
I need to run you through some tests right now.
Like probably 3 drinks. Partner rule.
Kai. No, so she's indigenous, non-binary. What else?
Yeah.
What else? Whatever other pronoun you want to add to that. Let's keep it going.
She gets triggered because she was called ma'am.
Oh yeah.
Ma'am. I'm non-binary.
I don't care about your triggers, dude. Chick.
Non-binary, dude. But yeah, like I can. This is what it says. Like, if you get pulled over, don't say you've been drinking if he asks you if you've been drinking.
That's right.
Like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. How many drinks have you had?
0. You want to take a breathalyzer? No. I'm not.
We'll take you in, then that's fine. You can take me in and get the blood test done.
Yeah.
That's fine, because more than likely it's going to be all out of your system by the time they can test you. So, not legal advice. I'm just saying. Hey. Don't drink and drive. There. That's the best way to do it. Just don't do it.
Just run.
Stand facing me, please.
But I just want you to know that I also have very bad social anxiety.
You and me both.
You and me both.
Okay. Any recent head trauma, traumatic brain injuries, anything I need to know about?
Mental, yes.
We can tell you're mental.
Focus on my finger, please.
I am. You're just like trying to intimidate me.
That's fine.
I don't know how I'm trying to do that. This is the test.
As you know, as an indigenous person, and there's a bunch of going around, I'm sorry, but it's just for me to be on my toes.
I get you.
Can you remember that I told you that I'm non-binary?
Yeah, I'll try my hardest. I'll refer to you as Kai, right?
This cop is trying his best to be professional. Like, I've seen some asshole cops on the internet, but this cop is actually like being a decent person. Like, he's trying.
What
really
does
hard.
being non-binary have to do with this traffic stop?
Yeah, I know.
You know, and you know what she's doing there. She's trying to socially shame him to have pity on her. Oh, you're non-binary?
You're non-binary?
I'm so sorry you're going through this. No, stand on one foot. Touch your nose.
Touch your nose. Yeah, Angela, you're right. He's gonna run out of fingers for how many times she says non-binary.
Oh my God.
How many times
Oh,
you say
God.
non-binary? Anyway, it gets better. And then it gets better.
Perfect. I need to know if you have any injuries or anything that would prevent you from doing a standard walk or turn tonight.
Mental health.
Any physical injuries?
Mental, yeah. But no, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Mental, PTSD, depression, anxiety.
I get you.
What else you want?
Now with your right foot, place it in front of your left in a heel-to-toe touching manner with your arms by your side, just like this, ma'am.
Can you not call me ma'am, please?
I'm trying my hardest.
Okay, well.
Okay.
It means a lot to me.
I'm trying my
I
hardest.
don't feel like a man, so.
Okay.
It's kind of triggering.
Right foot in front of your left. Nope, go back.
I'm sorry, but the whole man thing, just like, yeah.
I apologize. Let's see if we can move forward from it. You have 0 questions?
No, but I just want to tell you that I suffer from really bad anxiety, especially with generational trauma and PTSD around.
That was the one that always gets me, is the generational trauma.
Yeah.
Because of my generational trauma?
That sounds like a her problem. That's something you need to get fixed. You need to self-reflect and go fix yourself. That ain't got nothing to do with it. You driving drunk. Nothing. 0.
Yeah, it is really ridiculous. And the fact that it's actually a real thing is insane to me.
Embarrassing.
Absolutely insane, man. I am trying not to laugh at this poor soul who apparently went in her gender studies degree at school decided to throw all these DEI things at him. And those who don't know what DEI means, diversity, equity, and inclusion. DEI.
That's
or
a great
die.
degree.
Yeah. She's just throwing those out there, man. Like, that's going to help you in a traffic stop.
And I want to everybody understand this. People like her are the generation that's going to be leading this country in 20 years. They're going to be leading the country. Look at them.
Yeah.
Weak.
Gen Z for you. It's going over the fact that Gen Z starts at 1997. And there are people today that exist that are 23 years old that were born in 2000.
Damn.
Yeah. How's that for realization?
Well,
You're
my
welcome.
son, he was born. Yeah, he's an adult, and he was born. Yeah, in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
You ask me my age, my son was like, "Dad, you was born in the late 1900s." I'm like, "Yep."
When you were born in the 1900s, I'm like,
You were born in the late 1900s.
Those covered cabin or wagons. Yeah, it was fun.
Dang.
Oh yeah. So it gets better.
White people and cops, like,
White.
it's just,
I'm going to speak with you right over here, okay?
no.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and place your hands behind your back.
Don't, dude.
Don't make it hard.
Please.
Don't make it hard.
No,
Don't. You're going to get a resistance.
Dude,
You're going to get a
I
resistance.
don't.
Don't resist.
Don't.
Listen to me. Don't resist.
Don't. You're being
Come
a
here.
white man and
Come here.
don't. I followed all of your like, as an indigenous person, like,
Oh my God.
you guys. You guys are scaring me.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yes, there is. It's called
that right there. That's a highlight reel of
Oh
entitled.
man.
You want to talk about entitlement? That was entitlement.
That was absolutely entitlement.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Dude.
This lady, this chick.
This country is doomed.
It is doomed. It is doomed.
The elder millennials and us Gen Xers, we need to we're the ones that got to take the country back. I mean, God bless the boomers, but they're getting up there. It's the Gen X and elder millennials and some late millennials. But these Gen Zers, they need to.
This is exactly what we're talking about, man. Like this is the ideology and the people that exist. And it's like that. Okay, like I said, there are good cops and there are bad cops. That cop was good. That was a good dude. He tried his hardest, man, to be respectful, to be patient, and to not laugh every single time. Because I couldn't have done it. I would have been laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I am sorry. Like as soon as she said I'm indigenous and I'm just indigenously stupid,
I would have started laughing.
I like my professionalism would have broke. Right
what
there.
Tribe are you part of?
A dumb hoe.
The Dumbo tribe.
Yeah, that's the tribe she's a part of. Is a dumb hoe.
Oh my God, man, that was very painful to listen to.
It was very painful.
And I want to see her reaction. She's got to be out with something when people are just talking about her, making fun of her.
You
think,
man.
As an indigenous person with social anxiety and generational curses and PTSD, you white cops are scaring me.
You're being such a white man.
Oh my God, don't arrest me. All right, man, we're gonna let you go. That's your white privilege for today. I'm not white, I'm indigenous.
that you have allocated your white privilege.
Oh my God, America!
She's gonna come out and say the only reason she was arrested was because she was indigenous.
This is what we're dealing. And I'm not gonna say it's all Gen Z kids because my son's nothing like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's almost like a little me. That's what he is. But it's just crazy.
Like I said, it's like people are just getting fed up. And that kind of leads us into our next story. This happened over the week. I like how they put this. This dude is actually a dual citizen of Panama and America, but they say American lawyer 77 busted in Panama after gunning down 2 eco protesters blocking the highway in shocking video. The guy gets out of his car and is upset because they were blocking the road and proceeds to shoot 2 of the protesters after they said, "What are you going to do? Shoot us?" And yeah, that's exactly what he did. I won't show. I don't think they show the actual shooting. But just in case, I'll make sure to stop it before then. But this dude gets upset, takes out his gun, and then somebody has said, this has been reported, that he said this ends today. Like he was just absolutely fed up with all the nonsense. Dude's 77. Dude is 77. He gives no shits at this point. So here's the report from. I have 2 different reports. Here's one of them. The elderly American. See, they always put it like this because he's a dual citizen, but they're going to say he's an American because he had a gun and he shot people, right? Was arrested after the gunman was caught on camera walking up to environmental protesters blocking the Panamanian highway Tuesday and blasting 2 of them to death. Disturbing footage showed the man in gray hair and glasses casually approaching the blockade in Pan American Highway and waving his finger while arguing with the demonstrators before pulling out again and opening fire. Other footage showed people standing around the bodies on the road, as well as the gunman being cuffed and let off in the squad car. Yeah. So the police later shared a photo of the suspect handcuffed to a pipe as he was identified as Kenneth Darlington, 77, a lawyer and professor who holds dual citizenship in U.S. and Panama. Yeah. So apparently the other report that goes with this, which is more detailed of what was actually going on.
Wow. Well, like we were talking backstage, people are fed up, man. They literally are fed up. These protesters think they can just go around disrupting people's lives. You want people to stand by your cause. You want backing. Stop disrupting lives.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of people out there that probably support your little social justice movement. But when you block traffic and you're keeping them from going to work, and then they got families to feed and they have places to go. I mean, you got to think about the earlier days of these protests back in like 2020 or 2016.
Yeah.
They were blocking ambulances. They were just doing all types of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
People are
absolutely.
at the point to where they're fed up. They are fed up. So the best thing to do is don't block the road.
Yeah, and there's been people that have been pulled out of their cars
Mm-hmm.
from these demonstrators and beaten. And as we saw earlier in the show, getting jumped by 15 people sometimes leads to death.
Yep.
Right? But this is that same mob mentality that we were talking about, right? And so the 77-year-old American lawyer that has been arrested in Panama after he was caught on camera, like I said, reportedly the roadblocks have caused up to $80 million a day in daily losses to businesses and charter schools nationwide for more than a week. They were, I'm trying to find where it actually says it, but what they've been protesting about is here it is. The incident unfolded during the third week of protest this is the third week, right? It's not like this hasn't been going on for like a couple of days, but it's been 3 weeks, right? Of them doing this over the large mining contract that allowed Canadian-based First Quantum Materials to operate in the region's largest pit copper mine for at least 20 more years. So they're the Canadians. It's the Canadians' fault, right? It's Canadians' fault.
It's always someone's fault.
It's always somebody's fault. But I mean, the point is like this has been happening for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, these protesters, like we said earlier, they literally think with them protesting, whatever they have a problem with is going to stop right there. It's just okay. Let's stop. We're not gonna drill oil anymore right now. It's done.
Yep.
You know, that's how they think. You know, there's better ways to do it. How about running for office? How about trying to pass, when you get in office, trying to pass some type of legislation? Protesting is making people mad.
Yeah.
And it just needs to stop. I mean, you're going to see more incidences like this. I mean, someone said in the chat, 2024. Yep, there it is. 2024 is going to come around, and you're going to see a lot more, especially if Trump gets reelected. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You can imagine what's going to happen.
So that's coming from Crazy Days. Something bad is going to happen in 2024. People are being pushed to their limits. Only the rest will be patriots. Yes. Yes, it will be.
That'll be true.
It's just amazing to me because, like I said, it's like, do the protesters deserve to be shot? No, obviously not. Like nobody agrees that he should have shot them. But I'm not surprised it happened. You know, you push people to a breaking point. You do things that are going to irritate people. After a long enough time, somebody crazy will do something stupid. Somebody crazy will always show up and do the crazy thing. It does not surprise me that this dude just said, you know what? F it.
Yep. And like I said, you're going to see a lot more 2024 when election time comes around. First, it's going to be that whole trying to intimidate people at the polling stations. You'll see that if the election happens. But, you know, I honestly don't think it's going to happen. But if it does, you're going to see these protesters like this at election polling stations trying to intimidate people on who they vote for. You're going to see them blocking roads, and you're going to see a lot of protesters getting ran over. That's what you're going to see.
Like I said, it just goes to that ideology. At least, like this gives me hope that we're finally breaking through to people. Like because you see the extreme end of it, right? This man just absolute losing his shit and killing people, right? Which is wrong, but not surprising. And then now we have the dams starting to open and break of people going, you know what? I think things have gotten too far. And the best example of that is Saturday Night Live mocking students for siding with Hamas. And like, I haven't seen good SNL in a really long time. And the last couple times I've shared clips from them, these have been actually good.
I'm kind of confused on SNL. I don't know, you know, are they right? Are they left? Or in the middle? Or they're just...
I think they finally found what comedy was again.
Good.
We finally found their funny bone. Let's go with that. But yeah, this is one of their skits.
Come to Gaza anytime, and we will throw you from the roof, you homosexual dearth.
Do you hear? Bro, want to throw me a rooftop party.
They are so welcoming and inclusive.
So shukran. And you are also very welcome to come here to America.
We will come. First we finish with Israel, and America is next.
Great! So, I guess we'll see you soon.
Yes, it would be a blast.
Can't wait. It will be so multicultural.
Ya Allah, you are so stupid.
Thank you so much, Abu. We love you.
I won't even bother killing you. It's a waste of bullets.
Good vibes only.
It's better you just kill yourself.
Okay, bye.
Die.
From the
Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah, dude. That's just how ridiculous it is.
And that's something that needs to be done. Like you said, bring comedy back and just start making fun of these people. Just start making fun of them. That's all you can do. Just mock them, make fun of them. Yeah. That lets them know that we're not taking their cause and their movement seriously, because they're not going to do anything but sit up there and chant and scream and destroy property. But when it comes down to it, when it comes really down to it, if you know what I mean, they're not going to be anywhere to be found.
No,
mark my words.
And I think that's why South Park's episode, I think it was last week or the week before, with their ripping on Disney was so important, because it finally made it cool to make fun of these people again, right? Like, it finally, like, once you punch Disney in the face with satire, it's hard for nobody else to not do it, right? And so that's kind of where we're at today, especially with this headline. The Marvels released this weekend. It's looking to be the absolute bomb. And the best headline I've seen from this so far is the Marvels cinematic universe disappears up its own black hole. From the Irish Times. Oh, the Irish bringing levity there. It is brilliant. So, like, they finally got a dose of their own medicine, and how stupid they've been, and how they keep making all of this woke garbage nonsense. And people are finally seeing what it really is. What's worse about this whole thing is that up until the release, they actually had an embargo on reviews. Disney's like, we're not doing any reviews for this movie because we know how bad it's going to be. We know this movie is going to bomb. We know it's going to tank. They had to reshoot it multiple times. They also cut it down as much as they possibly could. They know this movie is shit. Absolute shit.
Doing it to them. This will be out on Disney Plus in about a month.
Yeah, it totally will. It totally will.
Yeah, it'll be on Disney Plus. They'll be like, man, we're not making any. Put it on Disney Plus. You know, we'll get money off of views.
But like I said, it's the fact that they're actually, putting this on like actual mainstream media, right? They're actually putting in bad reviews for a woke Disney product full of women and a woman director. That means we're winning.
Yeah, and just like, not to change, but we're talking about Disney and movies, but you think about Snow White, the new woke Snow White that was supposed to come out. They pretty much got rid of all the dwarves, you know what I mean? Yep. And now they're doing like AI or something like that. So, the consumers are getting sick and tired of this wokeism being pushed in our face. We just want to go there, like we've said many times. I want to go there to watch a movie. I don't want to hear underlying freaking wokeism. I just want to go watch a movie. I don't care about the equality and all that stuff. I don't care. Yep. Just give me a good movie. That's it.
That's all people want. We want good things.
That's all we want.
Culture is so important, and that's the thing that the right's been missing, or at least the cultural right. I don't say that because like right and left actually means nothing now. It's like either you're establishment or you're not. So those that are anti-establishment, let's say it like that. Those that are anti-establishment, look at this and we see this is a good sign that maybe, just maybe, people are waking up to the wokeness and it's actually going to die. Like, it's actually going to end at some point because people are getting fed up. Like some of the chatters have already said, it's like people are just done, man. Like 2024 is going to be a volatile year. It's going to be a fire year in a lot of ways. And I have no idea what's going to happen. And that's scary. Honestly, real scary. What could actually happen. But hopefully, it's kind of a white pill moment. Hopefully, all of this stuff is showing good signs that the culture is actually starting to change around. That they did this 10, 12, 13-year experiment of wokeness is finally going to die, and we might actually get good things again. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see. But like I said, there's an election year coming up, and I think they're going to ramp it up. They're going to amp it up, and all this stuff is going to get crazy. So people just got to start doing what we do as consumers, and anything woke, make sure they go broke. We did it.
Yeah.
We did it to
Yeah.
Target. We did it to Marvel. We did it to we can do it.
Yep. Start voting with your pocket. That's the
Yep.
biggest thing you can do. Is
Solid
always
vote.
vote with your pocket. Don't buy into brands that hate you, and don't do things. Don't watch things that you know are going to suck. That's really what it is. Like I would love to watch a Marvel movie, but I know this movie sucks. I've seen all of the reviews on it. I've seen all the commentary on it. Everybody says it sucks. The only good redeeming quality is the young actress in this movie who actually did a decent job, and everybody else sucked. That was it. So, and it, the dumbest thing about this movie is that they have the evil boss chick who's going to steal things from other places, like the air from one planet, the ocean from another, and gonna steal the sun from the earth. In some of the dumbest plots ever. And it's like, so what happens in the movie? Well, bad guy comes do bad things, and good boss girls beat bad girl.
Yeah, boss chicks.
That's the movie. That's
girl
the movie.
power.
Yeah, I saved you $15.
Yeah,
right there.
I don't care about girl power. I just want to see a good movie.
So, girl bosses beat girl bad boss. That's it. That's the movie.
I'm surprised feminists didn't have a women only day watching a movie. You know how they did with Black Panther, Black People Only Day, where it's only for us, you know, all this stuff. And then who cares, man? Damn.
It's actually worse than that because they are blaming the failure of the movie on men.
Oh, of course. You know.
It's all men's fault.
Yeah, it's our fault, you know.
Yep, they did.
You wouldn't even be in that movie if it wasn't for a man who created Miss Marvel.
Yeah, Bud Light lost a lot of money because of what they did. Same thing. And we're seeing it. So maybe as time goes on, like I said, we'll see bright futures. Before you head out of here, I want you to go to the link tree. This is where you can find all of our stuff, by the way. And we do have a Reddit. And what I want you guys to do, if you go over here to the link tree and you go to the Reddit page and visit the profile, what you guys can start doing, if you want us to see something and you want us to cover it or maybe even talk about it, depending on what it is, go to the Reddit and then you can post something on there and then it gets upvoted by other people just like you. And that way we can see things a little easier and we can commentate on it and we can talk about it. So you can go over to the Hooch Podcast subreddit and just post it on there. I don't know if anybody is avid Reddit users, but it's a good way to keep posts that we can see. As you can see, I've got one of our public enemy.
Poster, yeah. Public enemy 4514. I love that.
Right. So anyway, we will be back tomorrow night with the Savage Patriots.
I forget the topic. We're talking about Johnson.
Okay, yeah. The new Speaker of the House.
That he's a rhino.
The Rhino.
So yeah, we got all this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget Saturday.
Yep.
We had the Rumble show, and then Sunday right back on the Hooch. So you guys got 4 days of us. Or 5.
Yeah, we do lots of shows, and you can always follow the Hooch Podcast on the X or Twitter, and then I also do the live stream for the Savage Patriots on there too. So if you don't want to miss it, you can get on there. Anyway, that'll be it for us this week, America.
Nothing. Marlon's on here. You ain't doing nothing. What's going on, Marlon?
What's up?
What's up?
Says we ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, he's nothing.
Ain't doing
nothing. Nothing. I don't even talk like that. Nobody talks like that. I'm a proper black person.
He proper.
I talk proper.
Yeah. It's all good. Anyway, we'll see you guys over at the Savage Patriots. Like I said, go to the subreddit and then you can post stuff there for us to see. Anyway,
indeed.
We'll see. We'll see you all next week, America.
Yes. And
we're